Hello, welcome to Till So Far on YouTube. I'm Drew, and welcome to another talk and draw. Now this talk and draw isn't really going to be a talk and draw so much as it's going to be a movie review. Well, now I know that's not something I do at all, but I happened to watch a movie yesterday that just came out, Happiest season, with Kristen Stewart, and I have some thoughts. Going around in my head that I need to put on the internet for some reason, but I do. So, I guess, just to explain what it is, it's a Christmas rom-com style movie. But the two leads who are in love are both women. They're lesbians. You know, they're gay. It's a gay Christmas rom-com. Yeah, so here's my review. So I went into it expecting the typical fluffy Christmas garbage you tend to consume at this time of year, the deluge of crappy Christmas movies that my mum usually indulges in starting around November. The descriptor, a Christmas prince for white gays, even came up at some point, and, you know, the trailer didn't really make me think it would not be that. So I waited until the 25th, which is when it came out, and then I used my sister's account to watch it as soon as I could, because, you know, I'm gay and I love horrible, horrible Christmas rom-coms. I didn't expect to get genuinely emotional. Now, I love Kristen Stewart. She looks and just is great in this film, and I'm really glad it's her. Her character Abby feels real in a way I didn't expect. She's constantly reassuring in a way that makes me think of how I tell the people I care about how perfectly fine I am with the situations I'm thrown in where they haven't considered how it will affect me. She just wants the people she cares about to be happy, so she says yes, she says okay, she says she's fine, and she smiles and goes along with it. It's really kind of heartbreaking. It's relatable in a way where I don't want it to be. I don't want to think that this is what I do, because it is. But I'm also thinking, Abby, for God's sake, tell people this isn't okay, because it's not. It starts off very typically fluffy. Abby and Harper, played by Mackenzie Davis, who my sister will not let me forget is 5'11", are really in love. Abby looks at engagement rings, talks to her best friend about how much she loves Harper, and how she thinks going to Harper's family's home for Christmas could be both a good time to ask for blessing from her dad and also a good way to get used to Christmas again after avoiding it for so long after the death of her parents when she was 19. It's light-hearted and sweet and Christmassy, there's festive music and the kissing, and I'm wrapped in a blanket with a hot drink at 1am having a great time. Then the real plot kicks in. So I knew the premise, obviously. I watched the trailer. I knew that Harper was not out to her family and would only tell Abby when they were in the car nearly there for Christmas, and the movie will be about them sneaking around behind everyone so they could try to be romantic still. This was true, yeah, but it was framed so differently in the actual film to how I expected it to be from the trailer. Harper is terrified in a way I could personally really relate to, but Abby is also hurting in a way that really makes it also scary and relatable from another end. Now, my fear was more for coming out as a trans man than it was for coming out as a lesbian like it was for Harper, although I did also come out as a lesbian at one point and I got yelled at it, you know, by my mum, and it really wasn't great, so I can still relate to her from an extent. But she knows what she's doing throughout this movie. Harper knows and even states at multiple points that if she desperately tries to keep her family in the way she is, then she'll lose Abby. But it doesn't really stop her from doing, saying and letting all these horrible things happen to Abby or around Abby for the entirety of the movie. Again, that she's not a bad person. This is all really grounded, and I never expected these characters to feel so human, so familiar, so relatable. But there they were, being nuanced and heartbreaking in this Christmas rom-com movie. I really wasn't expecting it. I liked this film. I liked Aubrey Plaza as Riley. I thought, despite her being a small part in the film, that she was probably one of my favourites. She was understanding when she easily could have not been, and I just loved every second of her. I spent most of the movie really disliking the family and thinking, God, I hope Abby and Harper just go home and have a gay Christmas with their gay friends and never have to interact with these people again. But yeah, it's blood family, and yeah, that doesn't mean as much as we're told constantly, but the movie really pulls it all together near the end, and I guess I didn't hate them all when the credits were rolling with cute Snapchat posts from Harper's mum. I liked that the sisters, Harper, Alison Brie is the eldest one, Sloane, and Mary Holland as Jane. I liked their storyline in the end. I didn't feel like anything was going to happen, but then it tied together in a way that made me feel really emotional, because sometimes the only people who really get the pressures you're under are the people who were raised with the same ones, and they're better to have as allies than as enemies. It was surprising and really nice to see. The movie's message on coming out was really nice. It was different, and it was both nuanced and a little cheesy. It was maybe strange, maybe off, but it felt nice and right in the context of the movie, if that makes sense. Like they said in the film, coming out is never one way, and it's a lot for everyone involved, unfortunately. Two of my favourite drag queens were in this film, which was nice. I enjoyed that. There's also just a lot of cheesy stuff that fits the genre in a way I was expecting going in. There's also a lot of cringe humour, which I personally struggled with. I'm just really bad at watching cringe. That doesn't mean it's not funny, I just had to hide my face for certain parts. Whenever Abby lied, or well, tried to lie about being straight, the uncomfortable amount the family calls her an orphan, and the scene with the mall security all kind of put me on edge. But again, I'm not saying it's bad, I just find it hard to watch. It's not perfect, it's fun, it's surprisingly heartfelt, and everyone looks great. Costume-wise especially, I love the outfits. But overall, it was just a surprisingly heartbreaking Christmas movie that I watched while sad, gay and alone in my basement, thinking about how I won't be able to spend Christmas with my partner, and how my Spotify review for this year will all be Mitski and Hosier, and ain't that the gay Christmas spirit. Okay, so honestly, I really recommend just watching it. It's a good time for the most part, and I guess I've already spoiled most of it. I don't think I've ruined it, but, you know, I do think you should go watch it. I would probably give it like a 7.5 out of 10. What does that mean? I don't know. Probably an 8, maybe an 8, or around that. I don't review movies. That's not a thing that I have really ever bothered to do. I have opinions, but I've never wanted to write things down cohesively, like into a review before. But here I am on this Christmas rom-com. But it was nice. It was deeper than I ever expected it to be, and at the same time still just a Christmas rom-com. And I can't stop thinking about it. So yeah, that's that's my review on Happiest Season 2020. Yeah, so this drawing hasn't really got much to do with it, honestly. But I hope you enjoyed watching me draw it while I reviewed this movie. Anyway, thank you for listening and watching. And I'll leave you to watch the end of this video. Thanks. Bye.